G'day, hi, and welcome, Ninja Shark. Oh, my poor old MS-260 here. This saw is so beat up. Can't wait to get it fixed. It runs, but it's not running right. But today we're going to answer the age-old question: what does a chainsaw really weigh? So, I don't think I have a full tank of fuel in here. Okay, so this is an MS-260 with probably about a half tank of fuel, give or take, and probably about a quarter pound of dirt on it. 16-inch bar, regular chain. Everything is stock. This is bone stock. It's basically the replacement saw for this is the MS-261. And if you had to work with this thing all day, you're working with a, we'll even round it up to, with the gas and the oil in it, we'll say even another quarter pound there. So you're going to be under 14 pounds all day with this saw. You can work with this saw all day. Now, what happens when we go back to zero again? That's the perfect weight for a saw, because then you can work with it for your whole life. Come on, Sasquatch. This is Sasquatch, my MS-270. Essentially the same 50cc saw. Again, probably about a half tank of fuel in it. If I had to work for that thing all day, look at that. With a this exact same 16-inch bar, the exact same chain. This saw, still 50 cc's, is 15 pounds. We'll say 15 and a quarter just to add the extra fuel in there. So now you got a saw that was 13 and a three-quarters, we'll say 14 pounds. Now you got a saw that's a pound heavier. And although, unfortunately, this saw, the good news is this saw was free. I just got that by itself. I got the bar and chain by itself. And I'm going to attempt to sharpen it up a bit more. The saw ran. My dad had to mess around with it a bit, but it doesn't run right. It bogs out. Boggy chainsaw, as we talked about. And I'm going to get this one fixed up too. A free saw that I got fixed. You know, even if I put, say, a couple $100 into this saw, they don't make this model anymore, but the equivalent of this saw would be like, say, well, basically what this is the 260 or the 261 equivalent, but this has the ported head. And this, I believe the 270 is probably more the farm saw, hence why it's a little heavier. So 15 pounds, that's starting to get heavy. You got to work with that, but you could work with that all day. You could live with that all day. No, this is a pro saw because you have the winter, see that winter thing? When you take this off, there's a little doodadder in there that you can flip. There's the summer thing, there's the winter thing. You don't have it on this one that maybe you do, but yeah, so I don't know how old that is, but you can see that saw's a little girthier or whatever. But that's 15 pounds of saw, okay? Unfortunately, I don't have tree Kong here because I don't know if I'll be getting that saw or not. We'll put that back to zero. Let's go to Mini Beast, the MS-180. I believe that is a 14-inch bar and chain, and about a half tank of fuel, so probably half tank of fuel oil. And we are at all weight, just a tad bit on, we'll say 11 pounds even. So if you had to work with that all day, which would be absolutely no problem, and I have, so you know, use it for about 5-6 hours. I've done that already with this little guy. This guy's already paid for itself about 3 or 4 times. Right, great little saw. That's what you're looking at for weight. Right now, mind you, that's not the most accurate scale. I get that. And then, of course, we got the infamous tree tangerine here, which I've been starting to put a lot of time on. Which probably, I'm not sure how much fuel's left in that one. Probably not much. Oh, look at that. We'll say 12.5 pounds with a full tank of fuel and oil. I'll round up each time. So this saw, okay, is literally only about a half pound lighter than this saw. So bang for the buck, you wouldn't waste your money on a 34cc saw if for a half pound more, which you could work with all day, and get a 50cc saw, right? Great little saw, don't get me wrong. But, you know, that just is what it is, right? So what about old friend here? This is the Echo, which what are we doing for, okay, so compensate an eighth of a pound there heavier. So okay, not bad. So this saw and that saw, this is 39 cc's, and this saw and that saw, maybe this is just a smidgen heavier, but still under 13 pounds. But again, 39 cc's, 50 cc's, and for a quarter pound more, you know what I mean? Working with all day. Now, mind you, any one of these cc, any saw lighter than 15 pounds all in is, you can typically work with all day. Now, I'm going to grab one more saw. And that saw is probably going to make people mad, because you'll always hear, oh, the older saws are always better. In some ways, they're simpler. But no, I don't believe the older saws are better. It doesn't mean they're bad. It just means, I can already tell you, I'm guessing this thing's going to be about 19-20 pounds. This is a Johnsert. It might be 54 cc's. Not exactly sure which model it is. This is my dad's saw. This is the saw that I grew up with. Okay, so we're still going to compensate for an eighth of a pound rather than adjust the scale. So what are we going to say here? Make your bets now. Is this going to be under 20 pounds or over 20 pounds? I say it's going to be over 20 pounds. Oh no, it's under 17 and a half. So we'll round up to 17 and 3/4, because I don't know how much fuel's in there. So 17 and 3/4. You're gonna feel this saw. Now, I wish I would have weighed Tree Kong, the Husky 272, but that saw, the 272 with the bar and chain. This is, I believe, I'll tell you, it's probably a 20-inch bar on there. If that's 16, yeah, we'll say that's a 20-inch bar. Yeah, it's about a 20-inch bar on there. So you can see why I love these little saws. That saw is so amazing. The nice thing about these heavy saws is they tend to go through a block a lot, because you got gravity. So, you know, that works. But if you have to have a 50 some odd cc saw here, this might be 55 cc's or something like that. I'm not sure the exact displacement. It's 50 cc's and over. If it's 50 cc's, you're going to try to tell me that you'd rather be banging around with a saw that heavy all day, when you can get a saw light, you know, 3 pounds lighter, 3 or 4 pounds lighter for the same power. We'll look at this little CS Johnsert CS 2238. This is 38 cc's, just to you know, and we're back to 0 again. So again, not the most accurate scale, but you get, just to give you an idea. So this one, that's actually pretty light. What was the tree tangerine? So we'll say, we'll round up to 13 pounds. Okay. Oop. No cheating. No. Again, that's a little 16-inch bar on there too. That might be more. Is it 16? So the tree tangerine and the Johnsert, these are probably the same size. Okay, so this is almost a pound lighter. So you get 38 cc's, 34 cc's on the X-Torque. So for that little extra difference, and then this one, okay, this one was 39 cc, so this would be the rival right here. So okay, compensate for half pound. 12 pounds on the Echo, 39 cc's. Okay, 12 pounds. We'll say 12 1/4, just to round up a bit for fuel and for scale variation. And what was this one? So that was 12 1/4. This is, again, the Johnserts are always heavier. 12 and, we'll say 13. We'll round up. So, almost a pound difference. And you get an extra cc on that saw. So, mind you, I'd still probably take the Johnsert. So, just to give you an idea. And then again, this thing, what did this thing come in at? I'll just leave the darn cover on there. That's probably 11 1/2. Perfect. So you can get an idea of what chainsaws really are. So that was 11 1/2. We'll say 12 pounds there. And this one all in, the 260, we'll round up to 14. So about 3 pounds heavier. And this this saw is the first saw I've ever owned, and I've had it for about 13 years now, and it ran perfect up until last year. And definitely worth it. I mean, the 261 is $1,100, $1,000 and up Canadian. for that saw. You know, so it is worth rebuilding that saw for sure. Even if I put $300 into that saw, it's still worth it. You know what I mean? The 270, it's still worth it. But the 270, again, so the Johnsert, my dad's Johnsert, whatever displacement it was, this was what pushing, I think we got to look at the zero again. Yeah, so we're about a quarter pound, so we got to go quarter pound up. Yeah, so that's almost 2 pounds lighter than what the Johnsert was. So these are the two heaviest saws here. So MS270, if you had to work with it all day versus the Johnsert, I'd take this. Like my dad's saw, if you work with it all day, yeah, you notice, like, you know what I mean? Well, I'll show you one more time, you know, just to give you guys an idea. So when you guys are looking at the, you know, the big 881s and the, you know, the Husky 590s and, you know, the 572s and the 372s and the 272s, like that 272 was much heavier than this. And I have used the 272 before, so I'm going to try to get this video done before it splices the video. So again, the Johnsert was what, 18 pounds? Yeah, so we'll round up to 18 pounds, 17 and a half. And the 270, round up to 15 and a half. 2 pounds lighter, just about. All right, here we go.